and they win the NFC South.
What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. One more video on Bucs Cardinals. We're going to go ahead and dive into the film for a minute here just to see what we can take out of it. Some of the good, some of the bad. Going away from this 3-point win against the Arizona Cardinals. Tomorrow we will move on to the Aints. It is Aints week again. So let's go ahead and jump into the Cardinal stuff. So things that we can take away from this game. One of them primarily when you're looking at the offense and the offensive weapons, health, things like that, is Godwin looked a lot more like Chris Godwin in this one. So this really, a lot of it is on Baker. It's really a better play from Baker than it is Godwin being able to break that. Scramble out wide. Godwin's at the bottom of your screen there. Kind of just turns around, makes himself open, opens up his body for Baker. But is able to, catch the ball and break a tackle. This is what Chris Godwin does. Run after the catch. That's the weapon that he is. One of the things I thought Baker did do best on Sunday was kind of set the protections. Arizona does present a lot of pretty crazy fronts. They send blitzes, and Baker does get a lot of practice seeing those things in practice. What a block by Tez there. Does get a lot of practice seeing that going up against Todd Bowles' defenses every day. But yeah, good job by Baker setting the protections. It's a team that can get to the quarterback, and while they did get to Baker here and there, it wasn't like the Lions game or the Rams game, anything even close to that. I think that is also a tribute to Ben Bredeson returning, so that's a big deal as well, having one of your offensive guards back. Moving on to the other side of the ball, the Bucs don't do anything with that possession. Arizona Cardinals get the ball, and they actually get it all the way down right up to the red zone, but the Bucs defense, a lot of bend don't break. Thankfully, it worked on Sunday. Big interception there. It kind of looks like Dean was right there for it. I don't know if Dennis maybe ran into him and it popped the ball in the air, but regardless, Antoine was there to pick that off. We'll see if we can pause it. I'm going to assume that they ran into each other. It looks like Dean kind of has it here and then pops in the air. Thankfully, Tweez is there. So this is the drive after that, the drive following up. And one of my biggest issues from Sunday, if I'm going to be critical, is the Bucs offense not taking advantage of stops on defense, especially on turnovers, whether it be the interception, whether it be the fumble, whether it be the fourth down stop, not the final one, but the fourth down stop before that, just not taking advantage of those. And those are opportunities for you to take, get big swings. Like they were right up in field goal range against the red zone. If you turn this into a touchdown, that's at least a 10-point swing when you're talking about they probably would have made a field goal. You turn it into a touchdown. But instead, it's just a wash because you don't do anything with it. Unfortunately, it's a wash because of the refs. So we're going to look at Tristan Wirfs here. This is teach tape for kind of what you should do as an offensive lineman with this move here. The guy has all of his leverage on you. It's like if you have a chair, right? A chair has 4 legs. A human has 2 legs, 2 arms. So all of this guy's weight here, he's so, leaned forward into Wirfs. If Wirfs just throws his arms down, the same way if you take 2 legs off of a chair, the chair is going to fall over. This edge rusher is going to fall over. So that's what Wirfs does. So he just throws his arms down. But for some reason, this little guy right here decides that's not a fantastic move by an all-pro tackle. That is a holding penalty. How do you get holding out of this? I have no idea. I really don't know how you get holding out of this from Tristan Wirfs. Knock him down. Beautiful throw over the middle. Great catch. And that gets you all the way to the Cardinals' side of the field. Who knows what could have happened from there? But of course, that kind of kills the drive, and that's that. It was not on third down. There was another play after that, and Dan Feeney does get beat here. Pretty simple one-on-one, and just gets beat on his outside. Montez Sweat, once again I said, solid defense, solid front. They can get to the quarterback. They got by Dan Feeney there. All right, here's one of my favorite plays that Josh Grizzard drew up on Sunday. Of course, we'll get to the Tristan Wirfs touchdown here in a minute, but this, just as good. Just as good. So it's pretty much, I'll let it roll a little bit here, K-dot in motion, but it's nearly a max protection. You got here, 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 here. So you got 2 tight ends and a running back, chips. So we'll rewind it. There's only 2 routes going. You got Ryan Miller and you got Chris Godwin, which, interestingly enough, those are your 2 best run blocking wide receivers. So it kind of screams run play here, right? You got all these guys blocking and you got your 2 best run blocking receivers in there. So Ryan Miller's kind of just going to take this secondary defender out of the play, but watch Chris Godwin as he kind of leaks. It just looks like a drag route for the first half of it, and then he kind of just leaks out and goes north and south. So really cleanly drawn up play here. Eyes on Chris Godwin. Kind of just, you see how well he disguises that? A lot of credit has to be given to Chris Godwin on this as well for the way he kind of just ducks down. He seems like he's going to chip block somebody. Seems like he was going to get that edge rusher, or maybe he's going to get this guy, but just sneaks right out of there. Baker steps up in the pocket, delivers a dime. There's Chris Godwin, baby. So here we'll get that other look at it from this end. We'll see Godwin kind of disguise slowly and then leak out. And there's the throw, there's the catch, all the way down to the 10. Now, unfortunately, the Bucs only get a field goal out of that because Chris Godwin did end up dropping a pass. I didn't throw it in here, but it was another really good drawn-up play by Grizzard. In my eyes, in the red zone, you had some guys going over the middle. Perfectly timed throw by Baker, just ended up, I think he just didn't get his head around quick enough, and he ends up dropping that. Bucs didn't end up getting a bunch of sacks on Sunday, but they did get some pressure. They forced Brissett off of his spot. Here's a good blitz from Todd Bowles. Pretty clean. Good look there from Winfield, just shooting right through. And then the third down on that same drive, I think this is more of just a coverage sack. You got guys all over the place. Decent coverage here on the back end. The only guy I would say is maybe you can layer it over here to Michael Wilson. But when you got guys in your face, once again, Bucs getting pressure, that's not going to happen. So Vita Vea is the one that ends up with that sack right there. All right, another bad penalty call from the refs here. They were definitely making some interesting calls in that first half, especially. This one is on Tez Johnson, so Rachaad White is going to go out wide. In my eyes, this is perfectly drawn up, but the refs see this as a penalty. And Rachaad White takes that into the end zone, but once again, they call that pass interference. All right, and then here is the Tristan Wirfs touchdown. So right there on the goal line, Otten goes in motion. Pretty simple. He sets up the block. Everyone assumes he's just blocking, and Baker has enough time, able to get it over the edge rusher there, and Tristan Wirfs, best tight end on the team, is able to leak out and score that touchdown. So here you get a better look at the line and kind of how he is eligible. You see Wirfs here and how far he is from Ben Bredesen, and you look at the rest of the line. You got Graham Barton, Dan Feeney here, Luke Gedicke, and then they brought on Charlie Heck here as well, so that you have 6 linemen. Someone's eligible. Tristan Wirfs is eligible here. Just lays that quick block and leaks out wide for his first career touchdown. Once again, Cardinals kind of starting to drive. You see they're past midfield, but Bucs get a turnover, and this is Logan Hall, it looks like, who had a good day yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago now at this point. Logan Hall, pretty much from the ground, is able to force this fumble. You see he's on the ground. Just get an arm up. Just get an arm up, knock it out, and the Bucs recover, go the other way. All right, we're a little bit later in the game now. Here's a good look offensively. Baker to Ibuka, who we did see Ibuka kind of going over the middle a good chunk in this game. That's a good look there, but we saw it on the Tristan Wirfs penalty that ended up getting called back, and then we saw one a little bit after that I didn't put in this video where Emeka just dropped it. So they are giving Emeka more looks over the middle, which if you have watched the film sessions is something I've kind of called for. It's a good look. He's a guy that has good hands. The drop is not typical of him, but he's explosive. He can take a hit and run very good routes. And over the middle of the field, that's all very effective. Here we go. Bucky is back. So we'll kind of watch this thing get set up. It'll be easier to check from the other side, so we'll kind of just let this one play out. What a moment. What a moment. And you know how happy he was. He just ran all the way down the end zone and just launched the football into the stands. You know how much it meant to that guy. And the Bucky chants throughout the game. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So here's the other side. Graham Barton and Luke Gedeke both have really good pulling blocks here. So we'll kind of let that just roll. And that's what sets up Bucky to pretty much just go in untouched. Big block there from Graham. Let it play a little bit. Big block there from Luke. And just like that, Chris Godwin with a fantastic block there. So just really good from those three especially. With the biggest blocks is Graham, then Luke, then Chris. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if Chris isn't as explosive, if he doesn't end up being what he was at the start of last year, that's what Chris provides for you. The best run blocker. Easily the best run blocker at the wide receiver position on the team. So the Bucs are up 17-3. Things are looking good, feeling pretty comfortable, but the Cardinals end up coming back in this one, as we know. So here's the first touchdown for the Cardinals. Really, it's kind of frustrating because both Anthony Nelson beats his man here. Braswell comes in free. So you got your two edge rushers. By the way, it was pretty wild how, like, we know Todd Bowles does those hockey lines where he just, subs out 4 guys for another 4 guys. Here's one of those situations because it's Anthony Nelson and Chris Braswell. You got him dead to rights here. Like, he's able to just sneak through, step up in the pocket, and that much time, someone's going to end up getting open. Bam Knight ends up being open. The running back, he makes the catch, and it's a touchdown. Really, it should have been a sack. It should have been a sack. So we'll look at Braswell. We'll look at Anthony Nelson. Both of them are through once again. And here's Bam Knight here. Looks like Levante David is there. He's there, but he just doesn't carry with him across the entire length of the field. So Servacio Dennis is kind of in a tough position there. No one can blame him for anything on this play. What do you go after Brissett, or one guy can't do 2 jobs there? So eventually, it's the NFL. Someone's always going to break free. These receivers who are running the routes are smart enough to follow their quarterback, and yeah, it'll break down. This was another frustrating thing. Missed tackles. 1, 2, 3. And that results in a first down. Like, come on. Come on, y'all. And this is on 3rd down, by the way. Which made it even more frustrating. You got Parrish. Got McCollum. Got Dennis. All of them don't make that tackle. It's just like, come on, y'all. Come on. Basic fun. They're all going for the big hit. None of them wrap up. All going for the big hit. Just wrap up. Just wrap up. Even if you don't bring them down right away. I know they're going for the big hit because it was kind of like a 3rd and short-ish. I think it was like 3rd and 4. They don't want them to get that first down. That's why they're going for the big hit. But, man, wrap them up. Even if you don't bring them down, your guys are coming. But here is a huge 4th down stop. So the Cardinals come out in an interesting look offensively. Not something they really showed all game. So they kind of saved it for a big 4th down moment. And, I mean, they can either pitch it out to this running back or pitch it out to this running back. He can turn around and hand it off and have him go up the middle. But they pitch it to Bam Knight on this side. And really, Servacio Dennis doesn't make the tackle, but he does make this play. The way he's able to shoot through, and it kind of blows this thing up and allows the guys behind him to make the tackle. So he just shoots through. And now that cleans up all of this open space. So you got Logan Hall, you got Anthony Nelson, all guys there to make the play after Servacio Dennis shot through. And we'll get another look at that right here. So there we go. That's what the running back sees right now, is just his offensive lineman having to pick up Servacio Dennis. And there we go. All right, more defense. So this is the final drive of the game. The Bucs have to get a stop. They're only up 3. Don't allow them into field goal range, especially don't allow a touchdown. They don't even allow a first down. So let's kind of go through this sequence of plays here for the Bucs. And this is just pass rush right here, forcing the quarterback to get it out early. He ends up getting it out, but the receiver does not get out of bounds. They had no timeouts, and clock keeps on rolling. All right, here is the next play. Brissett drops back, just drops it off to the running back, once again in the middle of the field so they don't get out of bounds. Perfectly fine, live with that. Clock keeps rolling. They did not have that much time. So Brissett just dropped back. He sees Dortch right here, but Levante David's right there. He's got pressure coming up the middle. Every quarterback, that's their biggest fear, is pressure up the middle. He just gets rid of it, and it kind of went in between Zion and Levante. On to fourth down. And on fourth down, it kind of just seems like a little bit of miscommunication between Brissett and Michael Wilson. Brissett thought he was going to keep on running. Michael Wilson stopped because he saw Servassier Dennis sitting there. So Brissett's already throwing, and you see Michael Wilson stopping there. So you just let it play, and yeah, the ball didn't quite get as far left or as far right as Michael Wilson was. So just another look at the Cardinals, a last look at the Cardinals. On to the Saints tomorrow, back to the full schedule. I don't have like this crazy busy week. So episode of the Ops tomorrow, and then the preview, and that will be that. So leave your comments down below, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Go Bucs. You all have a blessed one.